Staging a fake brawl in a crowded shopping mall sounds like content, until real police show up with guns drawn. Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're opening up a wild law enforcement case file. We're looking at exactly what happens when the relentless pursuit of viral internet fame crashes head-on into municipal law, public safety, and the harsh reality of the criminal justice system. Our focus? A 22-year-old content creator named Jack Doherty. Which brings us to the big question, right? At what point do staged pranks actually become illegal public endangerment? We're diving into this case file to pinpoint the exact moment an internet stunt crosses that line into criminal liability. Because, as we're going to see, what the algorithm rewards with millions of views, well, a judge might reward with decades behind bars. All right, let's lay down the legal foundation here. The Journal of Legal Research and Juridical Sciences defines gross negligence as acting with extreme indifference and reckless disregard for the safety of others when playing a prank. That right there, that's our threshold for today. It's the exact lens we're using to examine Doherty's arrest and what it means for public safety as a whole.
Here is the agenda for today's explainer. 1. Incident report, Miami Beach. 2. A pattern of public disturbance. 3. Thresholds of endangerment. 4. Draining police resources. And 5. Court dockets and outcomes.
Section 1. Incident report, Miami Beach. Okay, let's look at the facts of the arrest that really brought this whole thing to a boiling point. Picture this. It's 3:12 a.m. on November 15th, 2025. We're in the 700 block of Washington Avenue, right in the busy heart of South Beach's entertainment district. Miami Beach police spot a group wandering into the roadway. Bodycam footage shows Doherty intentionally splitting off from his group, planting himself right in the middle of the road just to get a shot for a video. He's totally obstructing traffic, creating a huge safety hazard for himself and every driver out there. And when officers give him multiple lawful commands to get out of the street, he just nonchalantly ignores them, keeps recording, and actually says, "Once I'm done with this bet." And guys, this just perfectly captures the clash between these two totally different worlds. While Doherty is arguing with the cops, one of the detaining officers looks right at this streamer, a guy with nearly 15 million YouTube subscribers, and flat out says, "I don't know who the fuck you are, bro." It's just a jarring reality check, isn't it? Out on the street, your follower count means absolutely nothing to law enforcement. So here's where it goes south. They search him and put him in handcuffs for resisting an officer without violence. But they don't stop there. The search turns up half of an orange amphetamine pill. That's a Schedule II controlled substance, along with a black plastic container holding 3 hand-rolled cannabis cigarettes, about 4 grams total. Just like that, a traffic stunt instantly morphs into felony and misdemeanor drug charges, and he's hauled off to the Turner Guilford Night Correctional Center. Wildly enough, the body cam actually caught him begging the cops to let him slide off his designer watch to give to a friend while he was being cuffed. The fallout was pretty much immediate. Miami Beach officials stepped right up to publicly denounce him. Commissioner Joe Magazine did not hold back, making it crystal clear that having a huge social media following or a fat bank account gives you zero immunity from the law. He wrote, "Miami Beach equals FAFO, respect our men and women in blue and respect our laws." The city basically put out a giant warning sign: we enforce the law no matter how famous you think you are. Section 2. A pattern of public disturbance. To really grasp the severity of what happened in Miami Beach, we have to zoom out for a second, because this was absolutely not an isolated event. Check out this timeline. It's a clear, escalating trajectory of stunts. Late 2024, he crashes his custom $200,000 McLaren on a Florida highway while looking at his phone during a live stream and seemed more worried about the car than his own bleeding cameraman. January 2025, banned from the Kick streaming platform. February, booted from PGA Tour events for acting out. By July, he's claiming Child Protective Services swatted him during a stream. And then we hit the November arrest in Miami Beach. It's a pattern entirely driven by algorithms that just eat up unpredictable confrontational behavior. And it goes beyond just those incidents. His track record includes permanent bans from places like Disney World, Universal Studios, and Royal Caribbean Cruises, where passengers actually sang to him as he was being escorted off the ship. It's a highly documented history of being a public nuisance, all fueled by the exact same disruptive behavior. Section 3. Thresholds of endangerment. So let's look at the legal framework here. When exactly does a juvenile prank become a literal crime? The justice system actually draws a very hard, definitive line. On one side, you've got civil liability. If a prank goes wrong, people can sue you civilly for things like medical bills, lost wages, and financial damages. But on the flip side is criminal liability. This is where the state steps in to prosecute you for threatening public safety. We're talking actual jail time for reckless endangerment, destruction of property, or assault.
This is super interesting right here. The Journal of Legal Research and Juridical Sciences offers very specific guidance on this. They point out that when pranks happen around cars or involve traffic violations like we just saw in Miami Beach, the risk of someone getting hit and seriously injured or killed skyrockets. Because of that, these acts can trigger immediate criminal charges for gross negligence, plus massive punitive damages designed specifically to punish the prankster and deter anyone else from trying it.
Section 4. Draining police resources.
Beyond the obvious physical dangers, we have to talk about the massive, tangible drain these viral stunts put on municipal resources. Look at this number, $10,000. That is the estimated financial cost a city or county eats for just a single law enforcement response to a false emergency, what we commonly call swatting or hoax calls. When cops have to rush to a manufactured crisis for a video, it pulls real emergency responders away from people who actually need life-saving help.
And the legal system is aggressively catching up to this. Central Florida law enforcement is reporting that AI-generated fake crimes, like deepfakes of police cars being broken into, are being used to trigger real 911 responses. And these false reports are being prosecuted heavily. Perpetrators are looking at up to 20 years in prison for fatal false reports. States like California are even passing laws forcing swatters to pay back the full financial cost of the police response, on top of massive fines.
The thing is, even if nobody gets physically hurt, creating a public disturbance just for content triggers a huge net of criminal code violations. Legal researchers highlight that quote-unquote pranksters can easily be slapped with charges for disorderly conduct, false imprisonment, harassment, vandalism, and assault and battery. Standing in front of a judge and saying, "It was just a prank, bro," absolutely does not hold up in court.
Section 5. Court dockets and outcomes.
Let's take this from the street right into the courtroom. When we pull the actual criminal justice online case records, we see the real-world fallout. Looking at Miami-Dade court case number F25024849, there's the official record. For the felony charge of possessing a controlled substance and the misdemeanor for resisting an officer without violence, the state's disposition is listed as a deferred prosecution program. The marijuana charge got a no action. Now, if you don't know, a deferred prosecution program is essentially a highly strict diversion path. The state holds those criminal charges right over your head while you jump through their hoops, and the stakes on this docket are no joke. Right after posting bond, he was bragging to news cameras that he was a free man, but the reality is way more precarious. If he slips up and fails to comply with that diversion program, it could trigger the maximum statutory sentences. We're talking up to 5 years in prison for the felony and up to 1 year for the misdemeanor. He was quite literally looking at years in a cell over a street stunt.
The consequences are already hitting his daily routine hard. After his $500 surety bond was discharged, reports show the streamer was placed under house arrest. This is the stark reality of the legal system, folks. It means trading in your flashy designer watches for a court-mandated ankle monitor, strict probationary rules, and mandatory check-ins with attorneys and judges. As content creators keep pushing these extreme boundaries just to feed the algorithm, the legal machinery is sitting there, completely ready to convert a fleeting viral moment into decades of real-world consequences. Bottom line, the law does not care how many subscribers you have. So it all comes down to this. Is a quick hit of internet clout really worth a permanent criminal record, draining city resources, and putting the public in danger? If you found this factual breakdown insightful, subscribe for law enforcement case file breakdowns. Thanks for joining us on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.